Well, I tell my clients, like, I could be the best marksman in the world, but if I'm aiming for the wrong target, we are not accomplishing the objective.
Peter, hello. So good to see you. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to talk through 3 ways to jeopardize your retirement. According to Kiplinger, only 44% of people have ever calculated what they'll need to live on in retirement. First, of course, you do need to crunch the numbers, then consider rethinking the way you spend before you retire to ensure you don't outlive your money. So now let's talk through those 3 common pitfalls. Peter, what's on top of your mind?
Well, I mean, this is 3 easy ways to make things much harder on yourself. And I would
Yeah.
say of those 44% that have calculated, even of those numbers, a lot of them are underestimating the expenses. A lot of people underestimate the expenses, never have really looked at what they are actually spending, let alone like budgeted to try to control it. So yeah, let's get into some ways to make things hard on yourself, easy ways to make things hard on
Right.
yourself.
Well, number 1 is something that we have talked about before, maintaining debt. Many pre-retirees carry credit card balances, auto loans, mortgages, or other debt into retirement, sometimes as high as $55,000, according to Investopedia. So how critical is it to enter retirement debt-free? And what practical steps should we take now to prioritize making that possible?
Well, carrying balances is, I think, the critical part of that. If you use a credit card, like it's your tempting fate there because there are some inherent extra risks. It's kind of like tailgating. As soon as something else goes wrong, you're in really big trouble, or could be potentially. But carrying debt more than month to month, especially on the credit cards, is
Right.
really what I try to emphasize we should not do. If you are paying off the balance and you're just using it as a means for tracking transactions and maybe having a little bit of extra feeling of financial security, I don't think that's disastrous or a way to make things harder on yourself. But like things like paying off the mortgage, like as long as that's part of the budget that you have set up for yourself and the spending plan to account for that budget, I don't think that it's absolutely critical. But man, does having a paid off mortgage and having no debt make things much easier on yourself in retirement, because a lot of monthly cash flow has to be dedicated to paying those debt payments. And that's cash flow that you could be spending and enjoying retirement with. So just make things easier on yourself. Pay off the debts, make that a priority before retiring, before the paycheck goes away, especially, and it will make life after work and after the career that much more enjoyable.
Mhm. I want to add just a quick disclaimer. When you first said tailgating, Peter, I thought you meant like drinking before the football game.
Yeah, no. Following too closely. It's risky, right? Yeah. That tailgating too, though, also
I was
adds some
thinking, I was like,
additional
what if
risk.
one thing
Yeah.
goes wrong when you're tailgating? I'm like, well, yeah, that's not good.
No, yeah, the grill catches fire, the dogs are burnt. Yeah,
That would be
no,
no
I'm
fun.
talking about on the highway,
On the
following too
highway, thank
closely
you.
behind the
Sometimes I need
car.
it spelled out for me. All
Yeah.
right, number 2, a record number of parents, 50%, according to a recent study from savings.com, are financially supporting their adult children, with the average support around $1,500 a month. That includes expenses like groceries, cell phone bills, rent, health insurance, and even vacations. So how do we prioritize our retirement while still helping our family?
Oh, kick them off the payroll, folks. And that's really, it's tongue in cheek for me because I have a child and I would do absolutely anything in the world for him. But at a certain point in time, teaching him to be on his own and financially responsible and independent is not only the best thing for him, but also the best thing for me. And it's kind of like traveling in an airplane when they say, if there's turbulence in the air after takeoff and the masks drop, if you're traveling with children, secure your own mask first before helping the children that you're traveling with. It's not because we don't care about those children. We do. But if you are not putting yourself in the most stable situation possible, you're not serving to stabilize those around you. And continuing to help adult children, especially after they should have reached the age of financial independence or that stage in life, it could be jeopardizing your future years and your future financial stability. And so we really we need to set limits and limitations there and make sure that we are not enabling bad behavior, but also not jeopardizing our future financial security and stability, most importantly. And remember, this same generation has been dubbed the sandwich generation. So there could be a time in 2 years in the future where they're also tasked with and put the responsibility on of helping, assisting with parental costs and expenses associated, or even care associated with aging parents. So not only the kids, but the parents. And then this generation is sort of caught awkwardly in the middle, trying to do all of that, plus provide for themselves.
Right. And I think it goes back to what you were saying with point number one, which is when you've created that budget, then you can either say, hey, I can fit this into my budget helping you, or I'm sorry, I can't. Right.
Right. Yeah. And having the discipline to be able to say, sorry, I can't is really tough for a lot of us.
Right.
Especially with kids.
Right. All right. Last, living large, which simply put means living beyond our means. But how can we determine if we are spending more than we should? Because this is such a delicate balance in retirement.
Well, I tell my clients, like, I could be the best marksman in the world, but if I'm aiming for the wrong target, we are not accomplishing the objective. So going back to kind of my first point, where people have not done that budget and grossly underestimate what they spend. Not only that, but for this point, Erin, in retirement, once we have more free time and we're not showing up to work every day, like every day is a Saturday on vacation. And I know that I'm either here at work earning money or I am out there in the world spending money. And when I've got a whole lot more free time, more money gets spent. So not only should we understand our quality of life operating expenses, how much life actually costs us, including all of the bills, all of the obligations, bottom line, subsistence, survival, and lifestyle, but also account for the fact that we could potentially be doing more lifestyle spending in retirement. And we have to have some guidelines for that. We have to be able to enjoy life. Hey, that's what the money's for. That's what it's all about. We want to be able to enjoy it, but we have to be able to enjoy it within reason and guidelines so that we can continue to enjoy it for all of the future years. And I think that's where sometimes people let things get out of hand or outside the guardrails too often, too quickly, too early in retirement, and they then regret it in later years of retirement. So just be conscious of the spending and budgeting and expenses, and then account for some extras as well.
And again, it's a moving target. You know, what works for you when you first retire might not 10 years into retirement.
You know, I see a lot of people whose plans project out that they'll be spending the same thing 10, 15, 20 years down the road as they are spending today. Like, not only everything that we've talked about, but not accounting for inflation of just the same expenses and the same quality of life. Plus, I look back 15 years ago and I've added a whole lot of new line items onto the budget, new expenses. That will continue into the future. We've got to account for that, Erin.
Absolutely. Well, again, Peter, 3 easy ways to jeopardize your retirement. So 3 easy solutions as well. When you think about it, Peter, I know this is something you specialize in, but if somebody would like to sit down with you, craft that spending plan, determine what they will need to live on in retirement, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, give me a call at Richon Planning, 919-300-5886, 919-300-5886. The call, the conversation is always complimentary. It is a courtesy service, no charge, no obligation. The conversation is always open-ended to you. Share as much or as little information as you feel comfortable, but we are trying to help you accomplish financial confidence moving forward. And to do that, we'll exchange that conversation and share a few ideas, talk about your goals, and then put together the optimized retirement plan along with you if you would so desire. Again, no cost, no obligation for that. That is your personalized plan looking forward with your goals in mind and a long-term time horizon in the view and goals and objective with diversified strategies on how to get there. Trying to accomplish financial confidence with income, investments, taxes, healthcare, and legacy is the goal that I think everyone should have a plan put together that addresses those items. So again, give us a call to start that conversation, start that process, 919-300-5886, 300-5886. You can also go online, RichonPlanning.com, or email me, Peter@RichonPlanning.com. Any of those ways to be in touch.
Great. Peter, thank you.
Always a pleasure, Erin. Hey folks, Peter Richon here with Richon Planning. So glad that you are enjoying the podcast, Planning Matters Radio. You know, one of the tools that we've put out there that people really seem to appreciate and really are finding of value is at 919retired.com. It is your retirement tax bill calculator. If you've got any kind of retirement account, your tax deferred 401k or IRA, this is the website, this is the resource where you can go, you can plug in your own numbers, your information, you can slide the tool calculator up and down for your tax rate or your amount of savings and see what your tax bill is likely to be if you default and defer to the IRS's plan versus what you could potentially bring that tax bill down to. A lot of times it is a very significant savings. So if you have not yet, go to the website 919retired.com, run your numbers on the retirement tax bill calculator.
This has been Planning Matters Radio.
The content of this radio show is provided for informational purposes only and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. You are encouraged to seek investment, tax, or legal advice from an independent professional advisor. Any investments and/or investment strategies mentioned involve risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, a registered investment advisor.
Fiduciary duty extends solely to investment advisory advice and does not extend to other activities such as insurance or broker-dealer services. Advisory clients are charged a quarterly fee for assets under management, while insurance products pay a commission, which may result in a conflict of interest regarding compensation.